and then he basically beats the living crap out of Ethan, forcing him to tell him how to reverse the spell, which is to smash the statue of Janus's head.
And it's cool to see him in action like that. You know, keep in mind, this is only, 13 episodes for a season. This is episode 19, 20. I can't do math right now. And I think this is the first time where we see Giles lay somebody out.
Yeah. It's the first time you see Giles engage in fisticuffs.
What are you, bare knuckle boxing now?
Yes. So Spike is hunting for Buffy and runs into Larry the bully from earlier on in the episode, who is transformed into an actual hideous pirate. Xander shows up, takes Larry out, and Willow warns them about Spike coming after Buffy. They barricade themselves inside a warehouse. Spike manages to get in. Giles smashes the statue simultaneously, breaking the spell, and Buffy kicks the crap out of Spike and sends him running. So then Buffy, kind of fesses up to Angel that she was, dressing because this way because he thought that she would be attractive to him, and he says that he never really liked noble women. They were really dull, and he likes women who are intelligent and exciting and vibrant. And kind of like Buffy likes that. So, and they actually kiss. And then at the very end of the episode, Giles returns to the costume shop and leaves sees a note from Ethan saying, "Be seeing you." A little bit of foreshadowing for the future.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. And so this is a really great episode.
Fantastic episode. And such an important episode.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of really great scenes. It's got a bunch of stuff that establishes aspects of the characters that will go on for the next several seasons,
and into the comic books. If you dare tread into season 8 through 12,
they've gone up to season 12 in the comics now, huh?
They went up to season 12, then they ended it, and then they rebooted it. If the show started now, so. The cover of the first issue is a famous picture of her from season 1, but she's holding a cell phone.
Oh, okay. So they just kind of slotted it up a couple of years, which they've been doing with, Marvel's been doing that forever. I mean, so I guess what I don't know what it is now in the Marvel universe, but the Fantastic Four became the Fantastic Four 11 years ago now or something like that.
Yeah.
It's got to be more than that. It's got to be more than that because Franklin and Valeria are teenagers, right?
It's hard for me to measure time in Marvel. I always measure time by how old Nightwing is in DC. It's the only way I can do it.
Yeah, and he's been 22 since fucking 1983.
Yeah, seriously.
There's a couple of really funny things. And also, this is the first episode that Oz notices Willow. Yes. And it also shows that Oz has some character because he totally just doesn't notice Cordelia at all. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of moments where this episode is really stupidly adorable. Buffy's accent is terrible
when she chooses to have it. Her accent goes in and out. Oh, what is that? Oh, there was some movie that famously the accent was so terrible. I can't even remember it now. But
well, Robin Hood with Kevin Costner.
There it is. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking. Thank you. You got it. You knew exactly what I meant.
That's what I figured, man. But overall, this episode is top to bottom a lot of fun. It's the kind of thing that you can, if you're not really a fan of the show, that you can jump in and just watch this episode. It's not quite a monster of the week episode, but it is pretty self-contained. And it's
remarkably self-contained for something that has so much impact on later episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
The example that I use is that this is the episode where Xander gets his quote-unquote powers.
Yeah.
Because Xander, they will always call back to the fact that he still has all the military training that he got while he was under the spell.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So it's kind of like Cyberpunk, with the download of memories into his
like at one point in a later episode, I think they have to break into a military installation and he knows what to do. And like in season 8 in the comics, he's missing the eye, he's got the eye patch, and they all call him Colonel Fury.
Oh, okay. And there's also he also modifies weapons and stuff. Doesn't he get a weapon from what's the group called? The Initiative? Is that the basically the Bureau 13 style group that Buffy's dating one of the guys in?
Oh, yes. I season 4. I think that they're called the Initiative.
The Initiative, yeah, because I remember there's an episode.
I just got a thumb up from across the room there. Called the Initiative.
All right, nice. Yeah, there's in one of those episodes, he's fixing one of their weapons that they need to fight a monster of the week,
and he magically knows how to do that because of this episode.
Ah, okay, all right. So that's kind of cool. I guess because they had to give Xander something, because otherwise,
even though he is the Xander, I mean that's his whole thing. But they just decided to give him this just one little thing that was just the right little touch, I thought.
Yeah, well, he's a stand-in for Whedon. Whedon always said that Xander was a stand-in for him.
Huh? I've never actually heard that all over the set.
Yeah, that's evidently according to the Buffy scholars. Which I am not one of, but I got to say that I didn't watch the show in its initial run, other than here and there, and I did know that the show was well done, and I have enjoyed it in the past. But now that I'm rewatching a lot of the episodes, it's just a boatload of fun.
Well, to sum it up, I mean, one of the best lines in the episode, Spike says, "Well, this is just neat."
Yeah, that was actually really funny.
I mean, if I'm right, I got first Cordelia learns Angel is a vampire, I believe, or like confirms it first. Am I wrong on that?
No, I think she learns the episode before Reptile Boy.
Okay. So this is where she confirms it.
Yeah.
First Ethan Rain, Xander gets his powers. First Cordelia showing attraction to Xander.
Yes.
First mention Ripper.
And
first Oz noticing Willow.
Yep.
And of all the damage done to Buffy's house over the course of the series, because one of my favorite things to do is to figure out what happened to the house in each episode, only one window was broken. Wow,
that's impressive, considering that it was basically I Am Legend outside for a little bit. All right, so that was our Literate Revisit of Buffy Season 2, Episode 6, Halloween. And we will be right back after the jump with our segment where we give you suggestions of stuff to read, and listen to, and watch. And we like to call that What's on Your Shelf. And that'll be right after the jump. Welcome back to the Literate Nerds. This is our suggestion segment, which we call What's on Your Shelf, where we suggest to our audience some type of content, whether it's an album to listen to, a television show to watch, a book to read, and so on and so forth. So what are you suggesting to us today, Jason?
My suggestion is a book that I discovered by accident by playing Lego Marvel Superheroes, the video game, where they introduced an Old West version of Captain America. And in the game, it said he came from a book called Captain America's Bicentennial Battle.
Excellent. Now,
I looked into it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say I'm familiar with the book.
It's my road there. I'm so glad that I got to take it, because I wound up just looking into the book to see what it was, and was just struck. It's a Marvel Treasury edition from 1976, obviously, and I saw that it was Kirby. So I was like, all right, okay, twist my arm. And originally I was just going to get a reader's copy. And then I was like, I don't know. Something set off my comic sense. And I was like, do yourself a favor, get yourself a nice one. And I'm really glad I did, because when I opened this up, I was absolutely blown away.
It's gorgeous.
First off, to have Kirby do 4-panel pages or full splash pages in Treasury size is just a joy.
For those in the audience who don't know, the Treasury editions were massive, oversized. I think that they were probably 11/17, which is the size that a comic book art is actually drawn in, is on 11 by 17 pages, and then it's shrunk down to 8.5 by 11. But they were huge, the Marvel Treasury editions.
Yeah, like if you've ever seen any of the original Marvel DC crossovers, Superman versus Spider-Man, Spider-Man and Superman and Spider-Man, Hulk versus Batman, any of those were Treasury editions, and they were an absolute joy. It's a pity that if they put them out now, they'd probably be like $40.
Yeah, they were 10 by 14, actually.
10 by 14? Okay.
Yeah, 10 by 14. So a little bit smaller than actual original comic book art size. I remember, and they were cheap back in the day. I remember them.
$1.50 cover price. $1.50 cover price.
$1.50 cover price, which is craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful book, and it's Kirby just doing really cool Captain America from that era when he had returned to Marvel and was taking over Captain America, and then ended up doing.
I'm sorry, I apologize, but what's interesting to me is that if you look at the credits at the beginning, he's listed as the editor and the penciler and the inker.
Yeah, that was something that. That was something that they did back in the day, where they would give guys like Kirby would edit as well as write his books. DC did that with him on New Gods and on Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and I think when he came back to Marvel, they did the same thing with him on Captain America, Machine Man, and the Eternals.
Okay. One thing I took from it was you could feel that he wanted it to be his, and he didn't want it to be Stan's.
Yeah, his run on Captain America in that era is kind of almost self-contained, and it almost feels like it's separate from the Marvel universe, like it's its own little bubble or
a fifth world, so to speak.
Yeah, or like the Marvel Adventures books, how it's it's kind of a almost feels like it's or how Smallville is separate from the DC comic book universe, that kind of thing, like it's a separate.
But the story itself, I mean, all I kept thinking while I was reading it, because each page I was just shocked, but I just kept remembering that quote from Kirby's granddaughter after he passed, where they asked about his politics, and she just, without missing a beat, went liberal Democrat.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
This is the guy who had Captain America punch Hitler in the face in 1940.
Yeah, well, he knew that he was getting drafted, and he knew he was going to go over there. So before he went over there, he wanted to make sure that he created, for the want of a better term, anti-Nazi propaganda. And he was a fighter. I mean, we know that. There's that very famous story about the American Bund members showing up in the lobby of the Timely offices and calling up and asking. Wow. Yeah, you never heard that story?
No.
A bunch of guys from the American Bund showed up at the Timely offices, and they called upstairs and said, "We'd like to speak to this Jack Kirby fellow." And who writes this Captain America book, and show him what some real Nazis would do to Captain America.